You know what this looks like? Ireland.
I don't know where it is.
Scotland or Ireland.
Windows generates the pictures when they scroll.
Some of the roads are so narrow that the furthest one down the road has the right of way and the other guy has to back up.
Then you have why is that? Well, it's all the passengers would hit each other.
The way they drive, that's what I'm.
Expand it more? Like go out?
Yeah, cool. I'll go in next door.
I don't know which 4 miles it is. 8 miles. Oh, right here.
Yeah. There.
There?
Yeah.
Is this the city? This is the city. Is that the city down there?
Where you don't see, where you see the purple lines disappear. Yeah.
Right there?
No.
You can look that up. I hate that program.
All right.
In is out, out is in, down is up.
Thank you, Councillors Campbells, for pointing.
Not intuitive. It's
Error.
not as good as down. Always way easier.
That's mistake on my part, not picking up on it. So what it is that line item and that, it is divide those numbers by 4, so you're averaging about 9.5 to 10 visits per mile per year, which is that period of time. So by dividing that 68,320, end up with 17,480 on my scratch sheet there, which brings your total maintenance costs to 82,900. Yeah.
So instead of 134, you're down to 82?
Right, so, and then I did get clarification, there are 5 dust control clients on that, which is $5,000 a year to the county, give or take.
Each or?
Each, 5,000 total, for
Total.
1,000 each.
Okay.
And then they have to kick in 1,000 each, but we don't count that as an expense to us. So you're at 87,920. Total maintenance on that section of road.
So can I just get a clarification on that? How come you're adding the 5,000 in as an expense? That'd be the same on any road, no? If you had 5 clients who put on dust control.
Yeah, because that's our share, but it disappears when the calcium stabilization goes through, because you don't do dust control on that.
Right, but isn't this the cost of the maintenance per year?
Yeah. So it's included in gravel road maintenance, is dust control. That line item in our operating budget is under gravel road maintenance.
Okay,
So our expense side on the dust control program shows up in gravel road maintenance.
oh, okay.
So it's actually $10,000, it's $2,000 per
Yeah,
application.
okay.
And they pay half and we pay half. So that takes the calculations on the bottom. It shows what we would pay with the calcium stabilization would be about $57,000 to maintain that road any given year. Your net gain goes down to 25,320 plus 5K for dust control at the bottom. And your payback becomes a 38-year payback. Now, where that fits into, if you want to do the calculation the other way, if you turn to page 219, gravelled roads. That is the entire network of these items that I've listed in that other scratch sheet show up as 5,134,860. We have 1,125 miles of gravel road. So if you divide that number by 1,125, divided by 1125, gives you $4,564.32 per mile. That's our average cost to maintain a gravel road in the county, including dust control, including grading, including graveling, including spot road repair. Some of those things that I didn't include in here, this was just the numbers that we have today to deal with. So you're at $4,500 a mile. Where 9.4 fits in, that 8 mile segment would be 87,920 divided by 8. So it's a little better than $10,000. So you're just about double the average.
Why divide by 8? Sorry.
Because it's 8 miles.
Oh, okay.
That 4,500 per mile
Okay.
is our average cost to maintain a gravel road for every mile in the county every year. So it's about double, which would fit the program criteria, because when you look at those expenses for annual maintenance and the 6-year maintenance item, those are gonna be averages over the full 138 miles or over the full 146 miles if we added 8 miles. So when you're comparing one road segment to another, yeah, you could use the one way, which shows effort versus what it's gonna take and what the investment is, or how it fits into the whole program is what I just showed you with the other calculation.
Can you show us on the map, somebody or Devin, just with your little hand, exactly where you're talking about?
So from this point right here, this is the paved road leading out of the city of Lethbridge to the dump.
Okay.
That'll be the start of the project extending east all the way to 845
Oh, okay.
for the 8 miles.
And I think that I missed something this morning when I said it was quite staggering. I was actually really shocked at the numbers, and it didn't dawn on me what the mistake was. I apologize for that. We're still more than double. And if you want to understand the numbers a little bit better, recon, I put in at $4,600 a mile per year. That road got 4 miles of recon done this fall, and the other 4 miles is slated for the spring. It would have to be done regardless if we do the stabilization or not. Initially, right after recon, we see a little bit of maintenance efforts. It kind of goes up a little bit, and then it comes way down. So that might taper off that grading effort a little bit. Graveling, with that amount of traffic on there, we're gonna see, I've estimated every 2 years to do 4 miles, and every 2 years to do to do 4 miles. So every second year, all 8 miles would get done, and those middle miles would only be done every second year, which is the numbers that we have. That's exactly what we put on there. The first mile has received 250 tones every year for the last 2 years, and they said that they're there every year putting gravel on there, and that's in front of Castles. The other area where we saw the big increase is right by the city, and I think that's because of that gravel haul coming out of the Lafarge pit, just north of there.
All Adams shipping trucks.
North, right up there. So, and then there's all the landfill traffic that cuts across there as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you're saying that the average mile is $4,500 a year to maintain on average of gravel roads,
For the whole network, yeah.
the whole network? Okay, so then, do you have the exactly amount, what it would cost, what you're spending on this road?
That's what this is. So 80, it's a little better than $10,000 a mile.
That was last year.
That was average over 17 and 18. And these were dry years, and our grading efforts go way up in a wet year. So dry years, we see a little bit more washboarding, but it's a lot more difficult to grade. When it's wet, that's when we see the rutting, and we have to get out there and spend more effort grading.
Well, your gravel consumption goes up in a wet year too.
That too, it gets pounded in. So, and these were 2 dry years that we're comparing to, but if the traffic increases, those numbers tend to grow with traffic. And these are without any Cavendish. I mean, there might be some construction traffic in there that, like I said, we have the traffic count data. We had Patty do a traffic count in October, just before reconditioning, and those numbers haven't been analyzed yet. They're still just in the raw form. So we have to compare them to our model, our traffic model that we have, and we have to compare them to previous year's traffic count.
So Rick, do they still have the Hall Road program, or is it part of STIP now?
The resource road.
You really is, or resource?
Yeah, and they've told us that this entire program is dust control, is dust abatement, and then that's what we were told, so we're not eligible for any of these roads. They told us that those are for resource roads, which are typically paved roads like Park Lake, but then all the asphalt component was exempt. That's basically what we were told last go around, so we weren't able to apply for Park Lake because it was a mill and inlay, which is all the asphalt component. We've been getting a lot of reasons why we can't apply.
Different one every day.
Well, would Keel Lake Road from 519, would that qualify?
Is it paved?
No, it's this.
Oh, the Kehoe Lake Road?
Yeah,
The one that goes around by the golf course?
yeah, the golf course road.
It's the same base stabilization.
Yeah, no, our reconstruction of 19.5 would have applied, other than the stabilized surface. But because it was gravel, I would guess they would pay for the gravel and maybe not the stabilization. I don't know.
He doesn't recognize the base stabilization,
They call it dust abatement.
whatever kind of program.
If they want us to do something for them.
Well, we did some, we had.
So are we talking to bureaucrats here that don't understand what's going on? Because, I mean, we're going over and above with what the road would look like with the other programs. And it just seems to me like they really don't know what's going on.
In my opinion, I'm supposed to stay apolitical, but I think that they have limited dollars and they're trying to focus their money where they see the need, and this just doesn't meet the criteria of their programs.
Right, you have me. Morris?
Are we supposed to use the mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had that one time when we went to recondition on roads instead of, what was that called again, when we did the complete overhaul with Dukes and all of that, that kind of stuff. We went from $250,000 a mile to something like around 50,000 a mile, and we were not eligible. And then we met with the minister that time. You remember the head carrying minister down there, and we met with him in Edmonton. And as soon as we explained it to him, Oh, he said, that's not a brainer, you guys should, be eligible, and we were after that. And you're somewhat right, you know, like, some of those people, they don't understand the program. However, Rick just said, they're short of money, so I don't think you're gonna change that anyways.
So that was the original shoulder bullet that guy from Vulcan did for us,
Yeah, right.
so.
So we were, that was being eligible to use MSI funding, and the STIP is a different program than that. MSI funding, they did consider our recon maintenance at the time, and we went back and fought and got the ability to use MSI to pay for reconditioning because it was a rebuild of the road.
Can I ask a question then? If we did do this road, which you said the total amount is $960, given the fact that we could approach the city and offset some of the costs, where would you see that coming from if we did it in the 2019 budget?
MSI.
MSI, completely funded?
Yeah, we had 10 miles in,
Okay.
or no, we had 12. 10. Yeah, we had 10 miles in for this year. So we'd be reducing that to 8 at 960. So we had 1.3 million, and that did cover the recon cost, I think, then if you're 10. Yeah, we put in the recon cost, but because of the way this fall went, we wouldn't have made it through the fall without doing the recon on that first part. I mean, it was blowing up on us.
And I guess this is a question just generally for council, because since you kind of indicated earlier that you wanted to take a year off and kind of study the whole haul route program, if we did this, then we wouldn't be taking a year off, correct?
Well, what we could do is forecast or schedule that year next year. Do 8 miles instead of 10, and then because we know this road has jumped up on the priority list, we haven't identified any miles going forward other than what's in the future considerations list on the policy. We had these miles added to the policy because we felt it was a top priority, and it's probably a higher priority than any other project on that list. So we could go into the plan and say we're going to do a study year in 2020. Or we can put this one off, do the full recon. We're looking at probably an additional 25,000 times 8 miles. We'll have to recon it again before we stabilize it. Even after a year, we're going to have to do some work on that road.
So any more discussion on this? Should we go for lunch and resume?
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Rick.
Goodbye, Rick.
This is bad.
Fired now?
Rick, this is bad.
It's no worse than a lot of